And we're live.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bullish Bears After Hours. This is Devin, Jeremy, and Stone. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
That was perfect, man. Nice. All right, welcome everybody. We've had quite a week. This has been enlightening, and it's been a good trading week actually, and we're starting to see some swing trades emerge that we can we pretty much bid farewell to those in the entire month of September. But now we've got October on, and it's time to rock out some swing trades. We've had some pretty volatile stuff in SPY, and I got my chart up here. And unfortunately, I can't let Stone share his chart this time because I forgot to set up the scene for it. But we'll talk about some stuff, and then heck, we can do a couple call outs too. So looking at SPY daily chart, this is going to give us kind of a clue. And I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube, you can kind of see what I'm looking at with a delay. We're looking at the old hammer, the Tootsie Roll, and we have the inverted hammer today on today's daily candle close, and it's right under that 8 period. Oh, isn't that fantastic? Let's look a little closer. Looks a little bit like a diamond top to me, folks. Maybe even the old triple top, diamond top.
Isn't it? Oh yeah, look at that bird beak.
Yeah, bird beak. But either way, it's a range compression expansion type of thing, and
Something's gonna happen there.
all the other time we had that diamond, we have the angular support for that diamond kind of played with price today until it tipped. So now we're breaking down. So we're looking bearish. I think tomorrow we probably will have some more bearish maneuvers to play through. And let me zoom in a little bit further. Go to the 30, the 15, I think. And then let's start charting nasty because I got a whole bunch of lines.
You got a nasty chart.
Gosh, look at all that. So we opened up into a nice megaphone pattern from yesterday's close and today's price action. We had the old upper, lower, and center line on the megaphone. Descending megaphones do tend to break bearish unless they don't. And this one didn't. So it's still got tomorrow to maybe break bullish, but by then it will be a little bit late in the game for breaking out of today's megaphone. So
that's on the 15?
Yeah, it's on the 15-minute chart. It's a little easier to see. And
I'm just checking, making sure.
The idea with the megaphone pattern is when it's part of a bigger pattern, sometimes they're kind of rendered relevant, but not necessarily going to break and do that old 50% retracement thing like most descending channels tend to do. We did have our rising channel up here, and we did have pretty much a 50% retracement yesterday, right? It hit that critical pivot. There's nothing but air under that pivot, so that's a gap down. And that pivot sits at 371, and the gap goes all the way down to 368. And let me zoom out even further, and then I'll drag my chart around a little bit. Why is it not centering? There we go. I got to drag it up too. Okay, cool. So when we have these top patterns here, let me turn the lights off so you can see it better. When we have these top patterns and they do have a descending wedge on them, we'll get one of two scenarios. We'll get either a bullish retracement back to angular resistance on the wedge, which we could open up at 375 tomorrow, but there's also a good chance that we can continue resuming that bearish trend, and if we snap that 371, gap down, baby, and then we go into a bearish trend. So it's an M-top until it's not an M-top. It's a wedge until it's not a wedge. So this will be interesting. It'll give us some volatility, which we like because we like to day trade. So in the meantime, we've also got a couple of swing trades.
We like finding those patterns.
Oh, we do. And those patterns, when they're patterns within patterns, it's even better. So like last week's diamond bottom here, which we had at that bottom of that trend, angular support for that thing became a target today, but angular resistance played with price on the open, and price went up, barred right up to yesterday's close, which is the orange line here. I started making orange lines for the previous day's close in this type of pattern, just to kind of know where I could expect a reversal, and we caught a nice, good scalp on that rejection up there, and that was pretty much it for decent trading today, unless you were scalping around the futures. And then you can get into some iron condors or maybe some strangles on SPY today. The delta was low enough to where it was appreciable.
All right. Well, what else happened today, Jeremy?
So what else happened today is I started getting into opening up the swing trade line again and making some call outs. We had an alert go out for a debit spread on Starbucks. So we got Starbucks. Let me get the chart up. We got
That ticker?
Starbucks. Yeah,
What's that ticker?
SBUX.
Thanks.
And where did my lines go? Oh, I'm on a 15-minute chart. Daily chart, nice little diamond pattern. Aha! After the top, at the top of a bullish trend, we know that those will have a high probability of breaking bearish. And this one, it did the old fake and break maybe today. So we're going to kind of keep a close eye on that thing. But it got just outside of that angular resistance, like these diamonds love to do. They'll fake one way and rip a face off in the other direction. I could probably scoot that lower.
What are you on time wise?
This is a 2-hour chart here.
2 hour.
And the cool thing about these diamonds is when we can get into a bearish position ahead of time, and I called this thing out right when price was breaking back through that 8 period on the 2-hour chart and 15-minute chart wise, right in the middle of the day, right in here. We had that nice doji, and we were able to get into some far out of the money November expiration. I think it was November 18th, if I'm not mistaken. Just a $5 wide, bought the 75 put, sold the 70 put, and got it right in time. Paid 36 cents for that spread, and the day closed with that at 40 cents for value. And I had to leg into that a little bit because there is a 2-penny wide bid-ask spread on those legs. So I did have to leg into it to get that price. I know entering at 38 would have been acceptable too. But if this thing starts to trend, we'll get closer and closer to that price. And I don't know that we'll get into a situation where we're in the money in time for taking full advantage of that spread, but we'll at least be able to take the shift. And I'm expecting anywhere from about a 20 to 50% return on that particular spread. And then today, I also started playing with Bitcoin
That's on Starbucks, right?
That's on Starbucks. Yep.
All right.
Then I got into some Bitcoin Nano futures, just kind of cut my teeth on that a little bit so I can use it as a teaching tool, because we like having risk-averse teaching tools in our group. We got penny stocks that we can all scalp around in, but you can only really trade those bullish with minimal risk.
Figure out where the market wants you to be and be there.
Right, that's it. And we get into a situation where we look for an ability to trade in both directions, but we want to mitigate risk. And we had been teaching strangles, and strangles have been working out great. And it's appropriate to be trading strangles in this market, but they're going to kind of fade out of popularity when you have trending direction. And October is likely going to be able to bring us
November.
October into November is likely to bring us some direction instead of this crazy chop that we've had all through September. Yeah, it's been challenging trading, and once you get into the groove, man, it makes it a lot easier to day trade in that stuff. But then you got to kind of be able to adapt with the market conditions, and market conditions are always going to be changing. So,
are we able to look at something on like Webull app? Is there not a ticker I'm able to bring up to look at what you did in Bitcoin futures today?
Yeah, you can watch the Bitcoin chart. So if you type in BTC, and then
there it is, BTC. Okay, just want to make sure.
Run down your menu so you can select the one that is Bitcoin. And I went. Where's my lines? There we go. Let me go into a 5-minute chart. I noticed this nice little cone opening up here, or megaphone pattern.
BTC USD. Okay.
Yep.
What do you want?
Now I'm on a 1-minute chart. So
1 minute. Okay.
Had this megaphone.
I just want to make sure I'm on the same. Go ahead. Sorry.
Broke support, came back through with a double bottom, hit a key pivot, and now it's heading south, and it broke the previous low. I got in. I went short at $20,140, right on the top of that rejection, and I've been short on that for a little while now, just running the Bitcoin Nano futures, and it's starting to become very profitable at the moment.
I've heard people say that like the swings on it are a little violent, but there's good money to be made scalping it.
Yes.
I've actually heard that on a couple podcasts.
And what's great about the nano futures is they're really low risk, $25 per contract day margin, and
Wow.
every time it moves $5, your contract will change by a nickel. So when it's going with you, it takes a bit of movement for that to make some money. But when you're talking a chart that moves in hundreds of dollars, sometimes it pays real quick.
Also your cost basis to learn how to scalp futures. I mean,
Right.
that's a lot less than what you might charge on the ES,
Quite a bit.
MES, what have you.
And then with Tradeovate, which we're currently trading with, the commissions on that are just 21 cents aside. So round trip is 42 cents for a trade per contract. So it's not terrible, but you've got to make at least 41 cents to cover your commissions. And if each contract is earning like a couple bucks, cool. But if each contract's only earning like 50, 60 cents, it's like you're gonna be kind of having a hard time making profit on that. But it doesn't mean it's not a great tool for learning. And that's what I'm gonna start working into is getting back into the groove of teaching price action over options for a while. We got to kind of change it up once in a while. So
yeah, we got to move into other markets. We got to pivot.
And
Eventually,
I think
pivot.
I think Stone's going to be up for starting to teach how to scalp that SPY options, out of the money SPY options. If you want to break into some of that stuff, we were talking about how to take advantage of low delta out of the money SPY options earlier. You want to take it away, Stone?
Sure. I can't share my chart, but I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy has he has taught us a strategy of looking for those out of the money SPY options. And originally we were looking at 38 cents to 42 cents, but the delta is where you have to really look. And the 0.6 to 0.8, we don't want to go higher than 0.8. And sometimes those options, like for example, yesterday I was scalping them at 0.7 delta, and that 7-ish, so 0.7 to whatever. But I didn't want to get in at 0.8, and some of them were 25 cents a contract, $25 a contract basically, and some of them were a little higher than that. It was mid 20s to mid 30s. Those were really moving for me yesterday really well. And when you just start learning how to trade options and you're trading, indirectionally, and you're trading one share, a lot of times what can happen is that drawdown's very little in those areas. But when the move, sometimes it takes a second to move. So you've got to get the right entry. You got to be in the right volatility. Usually those things are really good when the market's moving in the morning, the first hour and a half or so, and then they're really good in the afternoon when you're moving in the power hour. So, but those things were just. I was killing them yesterday. I was having a blast doing it. I even got myself into a little hole because I got into it. Which happens, and at one point in the day, and then I said, "Oh no, let me sit back and look at this a little bit better, a little bit clearer, and find my right strike price with the right delta I'm looking for, that 0.07ish, and when I would get that, and the market would be moving, man, I'd get in and boom, I got all my money back plus. So I was really happy about that.
Good job.
It's good stuff. I really like those. The thing is when you first learn them and you do one share or one contract, it can be a little challenging for it to move, and patience is the name of the game, but also entry. That is the name of the game for those day trading, those options. So you really, if you're using price action, then you've got to get in at the right spot. And we had some great movement yesterday, where we had that trend. It was pretty much. I don't know that it was actually a real trend day, but we had that sideways movement, and we had that big sell off in the morning, and then it started moving up. And look, trading using the 8, and
not the 9.
Yeah, not the 9, but the 8. The 9's great. The 8's divine. Anyway, so when you use that 8 and price comes and it gets above that 8 and then it comes back and it touches that 8 and you can see that you're in a bull trend, you get in on that 8 at that strike price that's, with that .0, whether it's a call or a put, .0, point 0.7. Excuse me.
There you
It's been a
go. There
long
you go.
day.
Good shot.
0.7, and you get in there, boom, man. You just
Yeah, you hit the 8 at
hit it.
0.7 and it pops.
and pops. And
Yeah,
so,
got it.
you know, what I like to do is I like to find my strike price with the delta that I'm looking for.
Mhm.
And then I keep that, you know, I'm charting on TOS and I'm trading my options on Webull.
Okay.
And so I find my options ladder, I get that spot, and then I follow price and I look for the entry. I look for the pullback, and when that pullback comes, whether it's a pullback or a pull up, and man, and it just, you know, I had my levels drawn out where it was going to go, and we had a good movement yesterday. Yesterday was a really good moving day, so you had a nice range. Man, that was great. Now today, not so much with the. We had the open. We were talking about this earlier, and on my 5-minute chart, I used one moving average, the 15. And usually, when price is just kind of hanging around that moving average, it ain't worth trading for me. You know, for my rules, I need to just stay out of it.
Else.
Go find something else. I was looking at penny stocks, and because penny stocks are fun for me.
That's why Jeremy dipped his toe into Bitcoin today, was because there was nothing happening. So he's like,
right.
I'm gonna go dip my toe into another market altogether.
And he did, and we had a good call out on Neo at one point today too.
Oh, really?
Neo was awesome.
Yeah, somebody in one of our members. We got some of the our members are great. Okay,
I'm really loving our members, man.
Yeah,
I'm really glad. I'm really glad for our community. This community is excellent. Yeah,
it's the bomb, and that's old school. Fat, it's dope, bomb, whatever the head. Fleek, fly. It's everything.
No cap.
That was Lance, I believe. He called out that Neo had he was telling us about the Webull has added a top options mover section, so like you can go and look at top options volume. The same way we would look up the pre-market movers when we're doing penny stocks and stuff. It's the same system, just uses with options volatility, options volume. And Neo was like way up on the list, so it was like, okay, we'll go take a look at it. Nice tight bid-ask spreads on it. It was actionable right down to the money. Very cheap options, you know, with even Friday expiration, they're pretty tradable today. And he called it out, and we were probably mid-morning around 10:30 or something like that. And we caught some of this volatility or some of that bearish trend down, and then I was able to say exactly where I was expecting it to bounce and where we were looking at a bear flag break, and then it didn't. So I was like, well, that's about the end of that trend. But tomorrow we could be set up for a measured move on Neo, so we'll watch that again tomorrow, I think.
Absolutely.
Looking back on a 15-minute, we got one leg, two leg. We've already made 1 and 2 legs on a measured move, and then we could set up a 3-legger. And boy, that'd be kind of cool because we can profit from that. So Neo, I think maybe open just right at about $15 and a quick spike tomorrow morning, and then continue that downward trend. That would be pretty fun to trade. And then
would be. Someone
was asking on our YouTube stream here about XOM. I kind of put a comment in there. I was looking at XOM, and let me pull that up real quick.
That's another good one. That's an energy stock, isn't it?
Yes,
or energy
sir.
Underlying.
And that's setting up on the daily chart for kind of some more volatility. But if you break it down to a 2-hour chart,
Exxon.
Yeah, Exxon. Kind of setting up for a bullish measured move, and we could leg up to like $1.20 on that good guy.
What are you on?
I'm on the 2-hour XOM chart here, and I think momentum could be strong on that, and it's got the range to do it.
What are you looking? Oh,
a little bit of a megaphone pattern.
A little bit on the
5-minute chart today.
I mean, on the 2-hour, it's 4 to 5. 4 to 5. 1, 2.
Yep, and then you had that descending megaphone break on the daily. That's already done. And tomorrow
it's expanding.
We could get a nice little pullback on the open and go on the trend. I like it.
Got me going to look at it now.
That might take a nice window.
Might be. And we got.
No, I mean, just a little dip and then.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. We can get a little quick pullback and then.
Yeah, a little 50% retracement and then proceed.
You're looking at that for spreads, right?
Yep, I'd be looking at
Yeah,
that for
Yeah,
spreads.
yeah.
yeah.
I'm going to
No,
say
it's a set. It's spread setup.
that's not a directional trade.
No, definitely.
No, those 7 cent spread there.
Yeah,
Are you looking
Nine
for
mil.
that to roll? Are you looking for that to kind of roll over, Jeremy?
there's quite a wide bid-ask spread in the options chain on XOM typically. But,
Yeah,
but you
not on
go,
Neo.
yeah, Neo's nice and tight.
Look at that.
But you can
Be
go
like,
you can go into debit spreads on this fairly safely. Just make sure you got plenty of open interest and plenty of volume to be able to be liquid in that position if you're going to do spreads on it. I think I might just look into doing credit spreads on it more than anything. That might be the way
we're
to go.
going to head there. You're going to teach me how to do that soon. So I can have plenty of things to trade. Not that you're boring me.
No. We just when the market changes,
we
we can change products, we can change equities, we can change focus on anything at any time. And that's the
Well, we
beauty
can
of
look
it.
anywhere.
Being well-rounded in your trading is you're going to have to adapt to different market conditions. And
We're
today,
learning markets.
Right.
Multiple. It's not one market. It's
Right.
all one market, but markets.
Well, today,
where do I go?
aside from the opening range break, SPY was boring for most of the day. So it was like,
Didn't
what?
get a look.
Let's look at
It
something
was.
else.
It looked like it was compressing at one point.
Yeah, it looked like it was gonna give us a
yeah.
nice breakout, and then it didn't. It just kind of fizzled.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was tradable, but the options weren't really moving like they should. So it was like,
Yeah, that's what I was
Like-
talking about. Like, today they weren't moving like I wanted them to. Yesterday they were moving really good.
yes, sir.
Tomorrow they'll probably.
Oh yeah, that's some
Zero
chop.
day.
That's some chop. It's just kind of flat, and I mean they gave you a lot of movement on Monday, Tuesday, right?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday were great days. Lots of movement, but today was just kind
Yeah,
of
so it was
blah.
just a sideways day.
And I think we'll probably open up. I think we got a good chance at opening up right around. If it gives us a little minor gap up tomorrow for correction, maybe open up at about 375 and then tip on over and continue that trend. I could be wrong, but that's just kind of the way it looks to me, my opinion. And we're not certain, we're not recommending trades on anything like that, but it's just a matter of educational. And that looks like a duck, walks like a duck, talks like a duck. It's a very, very clean looking M top so far. It can gap up and then tip over into a triple top too. So I mean, we've got definitely a reversal pattern setting up, and I always say trade the break, not the setup. But sometimes you can get into a setup one leg at a time and do a strangle too. So we might get one last strangle out of the season of volatility going into October here. But either way, we've got great opportunities coming to us in the market here, and even in a bearish market, we can show you guys how to trade profitably, and that's what we do. So
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, if you were a bear this morning at 10.955, you'd have been good.
ooh,
If you'd have got in on that break at 9.55.
someone was saying they got $97 puts open on what?
Talking about trading at 9:38. Why am I taking a trade at 9:38?
That was some good
Sound like
times,
me.
man.
Well, some of them are, yeah. That 1 minute chart's great when you're following along and you catch those.
That rejection.
I did go to sleep late, get up early.
That rejection from 378. I mean, look at that 5-minute body. It was perfect, and it was just saying short me. It was perfect, dude. I got into that and caught some of that volume down, and that was pretty great. But yeah, that's been our week, and I think next week and the week after we're going to get enough of a directional setup to where we can start swing trading again, and we'll start putting out some call outs into our alert channel, and occasionally we'll share those out on Twitter and stuff, just to kind of show people what we do and how we get it done. But more than anything, internally, when you sign up for a membership with us, we are a teaching community, and we learn it forward. So even our members,
we want to help. We want to help people develop. We are developing a community. We want a community.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for.
But anyway, that's been a great day. How about you guys doing?
Well, it was a good day. I had my moments today. It was I had a little challenges here and there. I was trying to do a lot of stuff in one day, but pretty much should have sat on my hands in the afternoon, and I didn't. I got caught in a couple things, so I'm not hurt too bad. So it wasn't a great day for me. It was a good day teaching wise, though. I joked about teaching this morning, and as I was going through stuff and showing everybody things. I was like, dang, I missed that trade. And then a few minutes later, I go, dang, I missed that trade.
What
So
was
it was
that
all
penny?
right.
What was that penny stock you did a video on?
Ooh, PEGY.
Yeah. Let me pull that up.
PEGY. I'm doing the video on PEGY.
Peggy?
And I was like,
Peggy?
It's like
yeah. And I was like, bam.
you guys started talking about it. I immediately did this. I pulled up the ticker and I opened the daily chart, and I started plotting out these pivot levels to see if it could get up above any of this noise right here with the 200 period right there. Those are the targets to go with. It's just control bars. So seeing that it ran up to 491 today and that stops dead right at that 200 period on the daily chart, that rides over. And then we were watching people, basically when we see a chart, we're seeing how people are reacting to this chart. And they started chasing up here, and the market makers were right there to sell it to them. They sold right into that strength and gapped it down.
They call that eating their lunch.
Yeah, pretty much. They
Eating
got
their
it.
lunch.
And it's like we see those and we're just like, man, we know better not to chase those. We know we can scalp in and out of them on the action, sure, but we're not going to chase it, no way. And when we see those big old red engulfing candles on a 5 and a 1 minute chart, all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's like we knew those were going to be there. So
we said, nope, we're not chasing that.
Nope. Let's look in the chart for clues, gang. That's how we roll. We're Scooby-Doo style.
I was getting picked on because I hadn't called it out earlier. So they were surprised I hadn't called out. I said, well, it did show up in my scanner, and I went and did a video using Peggy PEGY as my live trade example, but I really wasn't live trading. I was just showing the how I use the EMAs and the moving averages. And I got to tell you, the 8 is great.
It's magical.
Actually, it's great to use the 9, but the 8 is divine.
Yes,
that's what I was saying.
That's what we'll call it.
It is really good, and I was teaching examples about that in a little 5-minute video I put together for our members that we're going to upload later. And man, that is, pardon me, guys, that is really a great way with using those moving averages in conjunction with your price action and following price action. And you can see a lot of times, like in a descending channel, where the 20 is above the 8. Now I use the 20, 15, and 8, and you get to a descending channel, and you can see when they come together and they cross.
Yep.
And
I'm sorry. What do we call that? What do we call that?
We call it a busy intersection.
Go.
And
there's probably a crinkle somewhere around there.
I had to hold myself back from teaching crinkles today. I said, let me just do the 3 moving averages, the 3 small moving averages, and I'll come back to the crinkles later. They work. But, when those things cross at the bottom of a descending channel, well, then it's time to pay attention.
What's going to happen?
And what's going to happen?
It's no longer Mardi Gras.
No, it's no longer Mardi Gras, and I call it Mardi Gras because my lines are purple, gold, and green, and the 20's purple, and so when it's purple, gold, and green, that means it's going down because usually, Mardi Gras people, it's going down anyway. But when they cross, and the same thing when you get to the top of an ascending channel, if that 20 crosses over that 8. Get ready. And if you see it on a 2-hour chart, like Jeremy did when he did those Disney spreads a few months ago, I still think about that, because that was really what highlighted it for me. When you saw that 20 cross above that 8, you knew to get in, and you made bank on that, Jack.
I killed
so
that
those, that's what we teach. And then those busy intersections, like you said, sometimes.
What is it? When the 20 crosses the 5 or vice versa, it's like the golden cross or the death cross. I think
it's the death cross when
it's going bearish.
When the higher moving average crosses above the lower moving average, that's the death cross. I think.
Yeah,
I just know. I don't know what they call it. I just know if you're in a trade and you're bullish, get
I
the
just
heck out.
I wanted to make reference for the people that might want to go take a look and do some reading.
Well, there are some people that are a hell of a lot more smarter than me. See, they can even probably say things a lot more gooder than I can.
Well, I mean, Hooked on Phonics learned me how to spoke good.
Yeah, well, let me done told you something. But that moving average, when they come together now, also, I'll tell you this. This is something I've been observing. When those moving averages all cross, like when you get that point where they cross over and they're bunched together like a little knot like that,
Yeah.
I take a price line and I slap it right on it and I hit it and then I label it and I'll say moving average cross and I'll say whatever it wants. You watch.
And
Price,
you color it too, don't you?
yes, I do, certain colors. And then price will come when it comes back to that spot.
It'll respect it.
It'll respect it. It'll be just like a pivot because that's basically what it is.
Mhm.
And you'll see it if it doesn't cross it really fast, if it bounces around or does a Busby on it. We have the Busby thing. Then those things they'll stay and they'll stay validated. We were talking about that yesterday with Lance.
It's the chart nasty.
Yes, the chart nasty.
The chart nasty.
Those things matter for sure.
Definitely.
And I like finding them. Yeah, there's so many videos we have to do.
It's like treasure hunting, isn't it?
We've
Treasure
got
hunt.
we've
You're
got
going on a treasure hunt.
so
Like,
very much
there's
content.
a spot, and there's a spot. There's a spot.
It is treasure hunting.
X marks the spot.
We've got so much content to make, man. It's not even funny.
It's not funny. And going back to like the elephant foot, like when
Yeah. Create in the woodies, and you get that V mark, and you're like, oh, something.
I call it a seismic jolt.
A seismic jolt. That's a great great freaking.
I'm going to point out a couple of those on Disney real quick, just because that was
What, are you talking about the seismic jolt?
great example. No, the crossing.
20 cross.
Yeah, that 20
Oh,
cross.
the 20 cross. 20 cross.
So like even on a daily chart, you can knock it out of the park with spreads on those, and that's what we did. Dude. I was calling out spread after spread after spread on Disney, and people were just making bank in the group. Man, it was awesome. And
Jeremy, can I get a timer reset?
Oh no, I've done that.
Sweet, thank you. Just checking.
Yeah, I've been doing that. Yep, you're good. So essentially, every time, even on a daily chart, you look at your daily chart first. That's where, whenever I hear a ticker to look at, I start way out and then I zoom in and get every closer time frame involved.
Yeah.
And then
so we start out at like daily, weekly, and then we start moving into 2 hour, and then down to like 5 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute, and we get a look at what's going on through that time space.
Exactly, and that gives us an opportunity to maximize our entries and exits, just to make them much more efficient. So
to make sure that we're on the coattails as opposed to going against the tide.
So daily chart,
ride the wave.
You see that price cross below the 8. It's still a bit risky. It still kind of has some time to shake out. But once you see that 8 period cross below that 20, dude. That candle right there said, just sell me. And it was awesome because that gap down was quick, boy, right from 147 to, I think I wrote that down to like 132. It was just a nice, clean spread. And then I just waited a few more, about a week and a half goes by. It does it again. I'm like, all right, let's go. And went short. I wrote that one on momentum. That's the one where I pulled off those killer spreads. And then to boot, I was day trading options on the dang thing. And at one point, I started. I think I held a couple of them overnight. I was taking profit on my day trades with put options on Disney in this whole slide. And when I have a size of position open and I make more than 100% return on that position, I'll close half of it and the rest of it's on house money. So if the next day it continues to just rocket down like it did, those are some of those that I closed at like 400% profit plus. And it's just bang, one after another. I mean, I just couldn't believe how easy
Jeremy's
that was.
just sitting here playing Freebird nonchalantly, and I'm sitting here still trying to learn Yellow Submarine.
yeah.
Funny.
Oh man.
Yeah, those. Listen, all those things that you talk about, Jeremy, that you have taught us, and that
we really appreciate it, man.
Bears, the things you hear them over and over again. Measured moves, 50% retracements.
Yeah, and then those moving
diamond patterns.
Oh yeah.
But you hear, and then those crossing of the average. The 20 crossing the 8, 8 crossing the 20. All those things are important. Those,
price action basics. Price action 101.
Absolutely. And, and in a market like we had this last week, it's like October it lived up to its reputation, as well as September lived up to its reputation.
Yep.
And as soon as it was October, boom, we had a trend day. The first day of October, we had a trend day. I think
you guys were surprised.
Yeah, and that was really great. But and then limiting yourself, and that's what I've been working on, is limiting myself. I think that's why when you hear a guy like Al Brooks talk, he says he looks for three things, and the descending or ascending wedges. He looks for wedges. He looks for strong breakouts, and he looks for double tops or double bottoms.
Yeah.
And so, those are the double tops, double bottoms would be one.
Right.
But those things are huge if you just use that as your tool. That's the only tool you've got to use.
Yeah.
And if you can, and if you can get in when a descending wedge breaks, and you can get in at the right time. Now, sometimes they break, they descend and then they go sideways a few seconds, and then they'll pop back up or pop back down. But if you can get in like on a V bottom, and those are really hard to get in on, but those are, just look for those things. Just look for one or two things. That's it. Or Wu-Tang, yeah.
I'm sorry, a W.
A W bottom, yeah.
A W bottom, yeah. Double tops, double bottoms. Those things. Yeah. Those things are great. And then you limit yourself, and we go back to the less is more. Less is more.
Yep.
Less is more. Let me look at the mirror. Where's the mirror? Less is more. And it's true, and that's the thing. And so if you just wait for the right setup, and then you go in like a lion, and that's what I think Sig said one time. He goes, you just wait for the right setup, and then you go in like a lion.
Yep.
And you go in on it and you do it. And when you're just learning how to do it, go in penny stocks, man. Just
practice makes perfect.
Descending wedges, yeah.
There's other things, you can learn
penny
once you get price action. Once you get price action.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even just going into Ford, you can ride that. Ford's just super smooth on the movement. It's good for.
Now, I will say this about Ford. It's really good to learn some things on Ford, but now y'all have to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but sometimes Ford just moves slow.
Yeah.
And I think that's been, again, the challenge. And Jeremy, I don't think you learned in penny stocks right away. I think you were learning some things different, but I learned in penny stocks listening to Jeremy and the guys and the moderators. And that is fast. That's momentum. That stuff moves. And then when you get into something and you're learning options and it's slow, it's an adjustment period. You have to go through this renorming, if you will.
Yeah. Because you basically shift from first gear into second.
Exactly. And same thing with futures. If you're used to trading futures, and because we have some traders in the room that are learning options that are used to trading futures. Well, you don't have that latency, if you will, in futures. You get in and it goes up, and you're making profit. But if you get in on an option, and sometimes even the far out of the money options, when you're learning, and it goes up, sometimes it's just your price is just sitting there. It hasn't moved yet.
Doesn't move.
So no, but the thing is, it's better to learn that on options or penny stocks even than to go in the futures and try to do it, because that stuff will rip your face off and your bank account.
Well, you gotta have an
risk
idea.
capital. Yeah,
you gotta know what you're free. Okay, so I've got a story. It's the eve of Y2K. 99 into Y2K. The waves in Malibu are double overhead. 12 feet.
Wow.
My friends are they love big waves. They're surfers, surf family, and they're like, well, we don't have an extra board we can lend you because these things are a gun. We're talking about a big wave surfing board, it's a $2,000 surfboard. Sorry, but we can't let you. We're gonna put you on this boogie board though. And I'm out there trying to do it on a boogie board. I got spat out 6 times before I said I was done. The thing is if you don't have the right equipment or the right tools for the market, you're not going to be able to ride the waves that are there.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good point.
There's so much in the market to learn to do, and I think the other thing is having risk capital. But
Yeah.
being in a community like we have with it's been really, our community's growing, and we've had to, go through this shift because we went through 2 years of a pandemic and a unnatural market, if you will.
Yep. Very
where a lot of people like myself and many people in the tourism industry, we got stuck home. We couldn't do anything.
Right.
So, people were getting on there and trading. I mean, shoot, did you know you could go on your phone on Cash App and you could trade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can buy and sell shares on Cash App.
On Cash App.
Yep.
So you can do it on Venmo too.
Yeah.
So people were at home, and that volatility was there, and the market was doing all kind of crazy things, and then we started getting back to normal, and now it's kind of having to renorm itself. It's having to do corrections and things that aren't, that weren't normal or
Not natural, organic.
Yeah, now we're getting back to the normal way of doing things, if you will. And our community is growing because we have people like myself who got interested during the pandemic and started studying the market and realizing, hey, I can do this. This is a great way for me to use to make my money work for me. Rather than sitting in my bank.
I'm hoping
no
that
profit.
I'm hoping this market, going down helps some people to be like, well, I need to take some more control over my own funds and my financial future. And I can learn how to ride this market down and make money even while the market. I'm hoping, that's what I hope. I hope that we draw some of those people that, want to learn how to take control of their own capital, not just give it over to somebody else.
Right.
Well, I think we're doing that, Devin. I really do. And
I really hope that's what happens.
Absolutely. And I don't mean to cut you off, but I think this week we had a couple of instances in the room where you could people were getting the light. The light was coming on that this is not going to be fast money.
Right.
No.
I'm going to have to learn, and people.
I'm going to learn. This is long-term
price action. I have to learn price action if I'm going to do this, because some people, they use a lot more ways to gauge the market, and for some folks, those complexities work, but for the average Joe, if you will, the average stone. Those things, some too much complexity makes my head hurt. But when I can sit there and boil it down to just a few simple moves, and I can say, oh, I don't have to read all about the company's fundamentals, as Ed Sekoto says, fundamentals. I don't have to read about who the CEO is of the company or all that stuff. If I can just learn how these candlesticks move and how this price moves, and I can start capturing those things, and I can look at the long-term picture and where it's been before and get those historical pivots, and then I can start following that price action and learn how
what captured my imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
Captured my imagination. I was like, wow, wait, it respects itself?
Exactly. When we have guys that are sitting there taking it, and one day somebody said, yeah, I've been scalping the MES and doing this, and this, and I said, hey man, where'd you learn? How are you doing that? I didn't say where'd you learn. I said, how are you doing that? Because I was really curious. And he said, kind of got quiet for a second. He went, well, Stone, I've been doing everything you teach us.
Nice.
Where did you get that? I got it.
And I was like, I got it from you. And I was like, well, good job, man. That's awesome.
Well done.
So, and that puts a little responsibility on. I feel responsible.
Well, now you're growing a community. That's what we need as human beings. We need to feel that sense of responsibility to our community.
Yes.
And belonging. And listen, I can tell you right now,
how we do it.
Everybody wants to belong to something, even if they don't want to belong to something. And I've lived long enough, and I've been in a lot of organizations.
The nonconformists are conforming to nonconformity.
I'm a musician most of my life, as you know, and been professional bands and everything. That's a tribe. That's a tribe within itself. And I know a lot of musicians. They can't function in other parts of the world, but they function very well within the music community, and so everybody wants to be a part of something for the most part. Most people do. Psychopaths, probably not.
Maybe not psychopaths.
Probably not. But but for the most part, not, a majority of people aren't that way, and a
People need
majority
people.
of people,
People need
people
people.
need people.
Yeah.
People. I need y'all, and I love being a part of this community, and it's given me it's transformed my life in ways that I wasn't expecting to happen, and put me on put me back on some paths, and helped me recalibrate some things in my life that I wasn't expecting that to happen, and so I'm hooked.
That warms my heart.
I feel blessed to be part of this too, man. Yeah.
I do. I feel it is truly a blessing. So
yeah,
truly.
Speech over.
Speech over, and
thanks,
that's kind
Tom.
of a
That
wrap.
was awesome.
We've
yeah, guys. As always, thank you so much. Folks, YouTube land, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
I'm going to record that specifically and stick it on all my videos now.
Yeah, make that your freaking make it your text alert.
I could totally do that.
Whenever I text you, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
I could totally do that. Right now, I've just got a Jawa going. So
I like the Jawa. I like it.
Well, I'm reversed again, but I'm rocking my X-Wing shirt, baby.
Nice, the X-Wing shirt. That's a sweet X-Wing shirt. Yeah, Stone. That's right. Rep the polo, bro. Rep
there
the polo.
Rep the polo.
This is not a polo.
Oh, is that a bowling shirt? Is that a bowling shirt? Oh, it's a full button down.
A fishing shirt.
Fishing. Oh, do you have the back flap? Does it have the back? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let that back breathe, man.
All right,
we discovered
we'll see you next week with
to
this,
have.
and we'll see you tomorrow live stream. We're still live. We're just hanging out. This is what we do. I gotcha.
Jeremy, you're a dirty bag.
Yeah. All right, then, guys. We'll see you next week for the After Hours show. Check us out somewhere between 4:30 and 5:30. We just kind of play it by ear as we go. And we try to get out and just kind of wrap the week up, shoot the breeze, decompress, and just unpack the week and show you guys what we do, how we do it.
Jeremy likes to unpack a lot.
Oh, man, yeah, I'm done moving, that's for sure. I love this house.
You need to take cruises instead of like regular vacation. You unpack once. And then...
That's coming next, yeah.
We got them coming out of New Orleans. They cruise out of here all the time.
You should do that, definitely.
We should have a trading cruise.
All right, later, everybody.